You might know our guest today from making headlines a few years back after launching Fyre Fest, which, needless to say, did not go according to plan. But he's not only trying to repay the people from Fyre Fest, the concert goers and the investors, but he's also stepping in the ring at Karate Combat on May 30th against Justin Costardo. We are joined by Billy McFarland. Billy, how are you, man?
Jesse, big fan of you guys and your media company. So great to finally be here. I've been a huge fan of combat sports, so it feels wild to actually be stepping in there to try to make this all happen.
Yeah, so I want to get to that. It's kind of incredible. When I saw your social media post, I was sort of blown away. So I immediately jumped at the opportunity to try and lock this down. But before we get into it, I just want to ask, how are you doing? You want to give people an update, just what's going on with you and how life is going?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So it's been almost 2 years now since I got out of jail. It's kind of been a crazy whirlwind of trying to get back to life and back to work. But we are busy planning Fyre Festival 2 for next year. So trying to make it all happen and have a really great team around the table who's helping to build things. So I think this fight is just like a really fun moment along the way to literally fight to pay people back and to bring people together.
Yeah, so I guess that was sort of like my next question is why you are inspired to fight and step in, because I've only been in one fight in my life, and that was back in grade school. I've never stepped into the ring of any kind. So it's obviously, it takes some guts to step in there. So is your sole reason of stepping in there to pay people back? Or is it, is there a part of you that's like, this is sort of like scratching something off the bucket list for yourself? A little bit of both?
I think there's two main goals, and these are probably the same goals that Fyre Festival has. The first goal is to pay back everybody that I wronged from the first fire. But then two, it's about doing these crazy life moments with your good friends. And I think getting together and training hard 5 or 6 days a week, becoming really close to your training partners and actually stepping into the pit, like that represents what Fyre and Fyre Festival is all about. So I feel like it accomplishes my goal of raising funds, but also accomplishes my goal of trying to live life to the fullest and develop these great relationships through new life experiences.
Yeah. So, how is Fyre Festival 2 going, by the way? I know obviously a lot of people, it's no secret that Fyre Festival 1 left a bad taste in some people's mouth, but how is Fyre Festival 2 going? What's the process been like? What is the update on that? Where are you guys with that?
Yeah, so no need to beat around the bush. Fyre Festival 1 was terrible in every sense of the way. It was bad in the lies it told to investors. It was bad in terms of the execution. But what I think was good was the vision of Fyre. And that's taking 4,000 people out of their city, out of Austin or out of New York or out of Nashville, bringing them to an island and having them connect around all these like really great adventures. And I think people kind of have that thirst for connection, for experience, and for adventure. That's what Fyre is trying to provide. The big difference this time is that I am not doing it all alone. I have great operational partners who are actually in charge. So if you see me setting up tents or installing bathrooms, run away, it's not going to work out well. But basically passing off the logistical help to experts and here helping them kind of create the Fyre experience and adventure aspect to everything.
Great. So now let's get to the fighting here, because I'm sure that's what a lot of people are interested in. What sort of training are you doing? Who are you training with? How seriously are you taking the training? Just sort of walk me through who you're training. Obviously, you're training to fight a crypto influencer named Justin Costardo. I want to get to him, but just sort of give us an update. What sort of preparation are you taking for this fight?
Sure. So during the course of trying to build Fyre 1, I got super out of shape. I gained like 60 pounds. Literally, I was, drinking every day, eating like shit. And I got arrested. The company collapsed and I knew I was going to jail. So I went and started taking Muay Thai classes. And I was able to get in 5 or 6 months of training before prison. And actually in jail, I would literally have guys hold toilet paper rolls so they would ace bandage their hands. We would kind of hit the pads, if you will, like in the back of the cell block. So trained formally for a little bit in jail. And then since I got out of jail, I got back into Muay Thai. So have been doing it as a hobby, like a couple of times a week for like the past year and a half or so, but started ramping up training over the past few weeks and finally starting to spar and really like see what it's like to get hit and to fight.
Wow. So you actually sort of, what you're saying is you kind of prepared for this moment a little bit from your time in jail. Did you get into pretty good shape when you were in jail? Like, was that probably like the best shape you've been in after your time in there?
Yes, because ironically, you just like sleep so much, right? Because there's nothing else to do. So you have a ton of energy when you're awake, and you sleep and you work out and you eat a lot. So it all
Yeah.
kind of like works out to getting in good physical shape. So definitely was in great physical shape there, and still try to find, fun ways to make boxing mitts or boxing gloves, and hit the pads, if you will, to kill
Right.
some time.
Who are you training with? Are you training with anybody in particular that we might know? Are you
Yeah,
just
so I'm training
friends?
with I guess one of my favorite former Muay Thai fighters, named Phil Nurse,
Okay,
who's
cool.
based here in New York. Yes, he's kind of like a Muay Thai legend. I'm super beginner, so it's
Yeah.
not his usual fighter, or I guess person he's mentoring or coaching, but he's been a great coach in more ways than one. And he's obviously a master of the sport, but also of life. So it's really an honor to get to learn from him.
Yeah, martial arts, it requires a lot of discipline and lifestyle changes. How much are you embracing that aspect of it? The discipline, the humility, all of that, that martial arts, a lifestyle of martial arts really requires. Is that helping you in your professional life in some way, in your personal life? How is it helping you?
I think the discipline has been amazing, whether
Yeah.
it's eating healthy, losing weight, cutting back on alcohol. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
But I think it's also fun too to, you think you're great hitting the pads, and you fight someone who's been doing it a little bit longer, and they make you seem like a child. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to kind of go through that life experience where you learn there's always somebody faster, stronger, more skilled than you. I think it's fun to put things in perspective, and a good way also where like you never know it all in martial arts, right? So
Sure.
you can always learn more. And I'm obviously at the beginning of the journey, but it's cool to see even like the experts being taught something new by somebody else. And it's kind of like a fun way to measure your progress throughout life, knowing that there's no finish line and you can always get better.
Absolutely. Are you a fight fan? Are you a fan of combat sports?
Yeah, big UFC fan. So, I've been watching combat sports for, since my childhood.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about your opponent. You're fighting Justin Costardo. He's no founder of Web3 Breakfast. I'm not familiar with Web3
Yeah.
Breakfast. I did a little research on him. He's a crypto influencer. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent, and how do you see this fight playing out for you?
Oh, he's a big guy. So I initially signed to fight at 200 pounds.
Okay.
That guy backed out. And so Pizza Boy, as I call him, took the fight in short notice. So respect to him for doing that. We're
Right.
fighting at 215. So it's kind of heavy for me. He's a really big guy. So hopefully I can kind of like survive his 20 or 30-second onslaught that he'll
Right.
undoubtedly come out of the gate with. And then I think once he survives that, will be okay. But it's all about just kind of making it through that storm.
So you're trying to gas him out, is what you're saying. Try to gas
Yeah,
him out
let
a
him
bit.
let him
Yeah.
let him go crazy, and use his big boy energy and strength. Then I'll kind of come and use all my weapons from Muay Thai to end the fight.
Right. You see it. You see a knockout coming? Does this fight go in the distance? So how do you see it going?
Yeah, I think I'm going to win by knee. So a knee TKO will be the method of victory.
Let's go. Um, he said he wants to knock you. I got it. These are questions I have to ask. He did say in
Go
the
ahead.
in the video that Karate Combat posted, he wants to knock you out for all the people that you've scammed, is what he said. What
Yeah,
is your response, and how do you? What is your response to that?
yeah. I respect him for getting in there and helping me accomplish one of my goals, and that's to pay
Right.
people back.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it unless there was an opponent. So seems
Right.
like a nice guy. I just think that I'm certainly more skilled than he is in striking. So I think I
Okay.
will win, but definitely have to appreciate his pure size and aggression. So he will come out strong, and it will be scary dodging bombs for a few
Yeah.
seconds. But after that kind of barrage is over, I think I can use my, various weapons to end it.
One of the things about selling fights and what
Mhm.
what makes a fight marketable is having a good villain, or having somebody like Colby Covington or Conor McGregor, somebody
Yeah.
polarizing that people root for them, and then they also pay for the fights to see them lose. Is
Yeah.
that an aspect of this that you are aware of, that you are cognizant of, that people might be actually watching this fight to watch you lose as much as the people who would be supporting you? Is that something that you're aware of?
I think this fight is very similar to Fyre Festival 2, where 90% of people really want to see me get knocked out or see the event fail. And then in a fun way that almost makes it 10% of supporters even more motivated or energetic because they're going against the grain and like they're doing what they believe in. So yes, I think most people will tune in to see me get knocked out, but I hope to win over, a couple of them as fans when the fight goes the other way.
Right. Um, are you, we talk about villain. I mentioned villain role. Are you embracing that role in any way, or is your goal to set out to prove that you're a good guy who made mistakes?
I certainly don't want to make a living off being the heel. I think it's
Yeah.
a path I kind of have to go down. I have to run the gauntlet, if you will, and let everybody smack me with their belts for a couple of years. So,
Right.
I think I embrace the mistakes that I made and understand the path that needs to come after those mistakes. But I think ultimately I'm trying to use these opportunities to pay people back and actually build that vision of Fyre. So if I can accomplish that, I hope we will mature out of that role, but understand that I have to embrace that role, to get there.
Do you plan on fighting again after this? Because there are a lot of people who are considered polarizing figures who actually have embraced influencer boxing as an avenue for them.
Yeah.
Like where they would, it's an opportunity where they get a chance to fight and they can embrace the polarization that they have in society, but they can also, it also gives an opportunity to do two things. They can make some money, but they can also, like what you're trying to do, get a chance to sort of rectify some things from the past. Just give yourself an avenue to do that. Is that something that you've considered? Will you fight again? Would you consider influencer boxing, or is this a one-off?
Absolutely. I'll be calling out my next opponent in my post-fight speech.
Okay.
So I know who I'd like to fight, and I will try hard to make it happen.
I'm excited for that. I can't wait to see that. You got anything special planned for the walkout that you care to share, or are you going to keep that top secret?
Literally been working on it just before I got on the call with you today. So
got it.
Trying to make it fun, trying to make it a viral moment. Like I think Karate Combat's viewership is insane. Their last event had tens of millions of viewers across all their web platforms. So really, really cool opportunity to get in front of literally millions of people. One, win the fight. Two, pay people back. But three, to have some fun and do some cool marketing stunts along the way.
Now, I have to ask you a stupid question here. You mentioned the weight. So it appears that your opponent is making the weight cut.
Yeah.
Are you on a steady diet of cheese sandwiches to build up to 215 is my question.
Pretty much. I'm definitely fighting heavier than I should be. So
right.
I'm eating everything and anything right now to get there.
That was a joke, by the way, that the cheese sandwich thing turned out to be debunked. Just FYI. Anyways.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I know. So just, out of curiosity for people that might be interested in more of the personal side of things, how does the Fyre Fest, what happened in your life, how does it still affect you? Does it make it more difficult for you to network and to, events like this one that you're participating in? Just what sort of impact has it had on your life after getting out of jail?
I think it took a while for people to be willing to trust me or to give me a chance. People didn't want to touch me for a significant period of time, and I'm certainly nowhere near where I want to be. But I hope to use events like this to rebuild trust, right? Like actually getting out there, actually winning, like dedicating yourself to a martial art and everything it takes to compete inside the pit, I think is one small step towards that much bigger life goal of rebuilding trust. So yeah, my goal is to get the relationships back that I tarnished and lost, and to be able to be trusted by everybody else around me.
I have to ask, do you still speak to Rowe? Have you spoken to him, or is that relationship done?
I don't know.
Yeah. So. Okay. I guess that this is what I wanted to kind of end with. What does it mean to you that Karate Combat has sort of given you this avenue and this platform for you to sort of try to rectify things for yourself?
I think it's such a cool opportunity to accomplish my goals.
Yeah.
It instills discipline as an athlete, one, but two, as a person, more importantly. And I think that discipline pays dividends, whether that's like physically raising money, or whether that's, making me and my team better people to accomplish our overall goal of a Fyre Festival and larger paybacks over the next couple of years. So I think like there is no better channel for self-improvement than Karate Combat has given me. So I'm very grateful for that.
Let me ask you this. Where does Billy McFarland see himself a year from today? If all things go in a clear direction for you, where do you see yourself 1 year from today?
I'd like to be able to stand in the room with the people I wronged and shake their hands, and for us to both know that I'm swinging every bat I can to make things right and to make up for all the wrong that I caused.
Billy, I'm rooting for you. I wish you nothing but the best. Fighting on May 30th, you're fighting at Karate Combat in the pit, fighting Justin Costardo. Good luck, man. Go, put those gloves on and get the job done, all right?
Thank you, Jesse.